just found myself being drawn to glass. It was something about the material, and I'm not gonna bother trying to explain it. It's not something I can explain. It's in the material, it's a quality about it. I think maybe we start with kind of where I've ended up, which is primarily what we're going to focus on in this show, which is these glass pieces. And they're made up of about 19 to 20 layers of glass. Each layer of glass is individually painted on. And not only are they painted on, they're actually etched into. And if you get close and you really look in there, you can see that there's all of this cross-hatching, really just like line work that you'd expect to come from a pen or a pencil. And that is really fundamental to everything I do. And I think to understand that, I've got to take you back in time a little bit to understand how I ended up with these works. Six+ years ago, I was making work like this, which is no color, it's all pen, and it's just really intricate line work done with a pen. And I've, as you can see, been really fascinated with this organic growing form that kind of takes the shape of a flower or a plant, or you could even think of it as just branching leaves. When I got to the paintings, they really just didn't go very well for a very long time. And I spent about a year working in the studio just absolutely frustrated and feeling like I was going nowhere. And what I realized is that paint is fluid and it's very loose and it's exciting in that way, but it was everything that the drawings were not. The drawings were very controlled and finite, and it was, it really matched the way that I wanted to work, where everything was within my control. But I always wanted to take that into more of a three-dimensional space. I'm really painting with the idea that the composition can be looked at in either direction. And with that, there is paint on either side of the glass. So there is no front or back, there is just a side one and a side two. And as I go through these, there's a process of first actually taking a Dremel tool to these, so it gets quite loud in here and a little bit dusty. And I go through and I create this fine line work, which, as you've seen, kind of derives from these drawings. And then as I go through and do that, I actually take paint and I cover the line work, and then I pull it off and I scrape it off once it's dried, and that leaves you just the pigment in these etchings. I'm thinking about the volume and the layers more as individual points in a time series, maybe from the center as the beginning and then as you move outward. But really each form has a center point, and then as you work out, the form grows, but they're transparent layers over and over on top of each other, just like a long exposure image of a dancer or a flower. You can kind of see it in your head that it's like each layer branching out in different directions on top of itself. Because really, as you start to look at them, they're not just budding, some are just budding, but they're also starting to bloom, and then they're almost even starting to fall apart in places.